Hello YouTube, back at it again with another video. So today we're going to go over some rugby and some NASCAR and obviously some World Cup action. Spain and France is playing right now. Spain's up 1-0 inside the, I think the 24th, 25th minute, so we'll get to that here in a minute. We'll talk about Ryan Blaney's win in Atlanta, go over some Rugby Nations Cup and Nations Championship action, and then close it off with some other sports news and then what we're going to do with the channel. So let's go over here to the point standings. A lot changed. A lot has changed, in the past few weeks. Tyler Reddick's really been dropping out in the points. And then Ryan Blaney, that lone Ford car up at the top, he's sitting there making a little break towards first place. So we'll see what happens. Ryan Blaney led 171 laps of the Atlanta race and really just dominated, dude. You really can't say that much about it because, he just dominated the full race. We know obviously there was a break in action. They had to stop the race due to some rain, and the race didn't end up finishing until 1 a.m. I watched the first little part of it, obviously not able to watch the last part, but it's a great finish. It's a 3-wide finish. Ron Blaney obviously winning. And we also saw some more drama coming up with Carson Hocevar. He was, a lot of people says he drives for himself. And yeah, he does. But he's honestly the guy that NASCAR needs to be winning. He's the guy that, he's the big name in NASCAR right now. Everybody likes Carson Hocevar. But, to win, you got to have friends. And he just didn't make any in Atlanta. If he had somebody behind him, maybe give him a little boost. Maybe, Carson Hocevar would have been the winner and would have been in the victory lane. We also see some beef between him and Zane Smith. We saw Carson Hocevar Spire Motorsports trailer given away, letting everybody return some Zane Smith shirts in return for a Carson Hocevar. And, back and forth on Twitter between them. It's probably going to lead to another good little rivalry. We got some good rivalries with Hocevar, Corey Haim and Hocevar, and, Zane Smith and Hocevar. I'm a Ford guy, so I'm probably going to be rocking. I like Carson Hocevar, dude, don't get me wrong, but I'm probably going to be rocking with Zane Smith. So we'll see SVG, dude, a top 10 finish in Atlanta, dude. How about that? He's continuing to show significant improvements on ovals and turning left. So we'll just see how that plays out. He's still in the chase for now. No more road course races, so he has to fight it out. Eric Jones had a good finish in Atlanta. So yeah, it's looking really good for them. Toyota in general is looking real good. The only Toyota in the back of the pack is a part-timer. Granted, John Hunter Nemechek and Hurst, but they're not even doing as bad as people expected. So Toyota is just looking good all around. But a good weekend for Ford in Atlanta. I obviously thought Chase Elliott was going to be the winner there, but it just didn't play out like that. It's home track. But Toyota's just running away with that manufacturer's championship. Next weekend, let's see. Are we off? Okay, North Wilkesboro. So yeah, that's going to be a great race. I cannot wait for that. Chase is going to be dropping in the Cars Tour series that weekend too. So that's going to be pretty interesting. So let's go over here to my fantasy team. See how we popped up over there. Oh yeah, Ryan Blaney did me some work. Let's see. Short track racing, dude. Let's get Briscoe in. All right. Blaney over Bell. Elliott. Chase Elliott, come on now. Come on. Ty Gibbs over Wallace. Bubba Wallace probably will wreck out. And let's go, Toyota's just too hot to doubt. So, really can't say much about that. But, yeah, we're moving up. We're moving up. We need to keep moving up. I like it, dude. We need to keep moving up. So let's jump on over here to some soccer. Spain's still up 1-0 at the half. Think I was right across the board on my quarterfinal predictions. We'll have to go back and correct me if I was wrong. But yeah, I think Spain's going to hold it out. I think we're going to have a Spain-Argentina final. I know everybody's hating on Argentina, and we'll make a video later on in the week about Argentina soccer and just the World Cup in general. We're going to have some more videos talking about this specific sports. We'll have our weekly updates. I know I said I was going to talk about this at the end of the video. We'll have our weekly sports updates, and then we're going to have another video talking about some other sports. It's kind of hard to do that with just some other sports because, only so much goes on. So expanding the coverage to all sports, and we'll talk about everything, dude. So let's get into it. But, yeah, Spain's looking good. Let's see who got that goal. I'm not trying to watch the video, but let's see who got that goal. Not even going to try to pronounce that name. I was thinking it was going to be, Lamine Lamal or something, but, not even going to try to pronounce that, so. Yeah, it's everybody's sitting there saying France is gonna win, dude. Hopefully Spain can hold that out. I'm looking forward to that. See who is Kylian Mbappe, obviously up front. Messi playing today, and if France loses, it's gonna look really easy for Mbappe to, Messi to get that golden boot. Leading the assist is Michael Olise, okay, from France. France has been scoring goals, I will have to say. So yeah, let's look at I really think Argentina is going to go back to back. Everybody's sitting there talking about rematch of the finals, but looking like a Spain-Argentina final there. So let's jump on into the Nations League. I think I was right across the board again, dude. So yeah, just take my betting advice for rugby, all right? So we're going to start off with this Romania-Uruguay game. I'm counting the draws as draws, dude. It's going to be a draw for me. So I'm still undefeated, still at the top of the table. Who can predict the draw in rugby? It's not like soccer, dude. It's not a given. Still on the betting table, yeah, but it is what it is. I'm calling it. Still undefeated though. But I mean, a good match between both teams. I obviously didn't watch it. Started to watch these tier 2 nations play rugby, other than the United States here in America. But just all out. It looked like an all out brawl. I mean, I've obviously seen highlights from it. I expected Romania to come out stronger, but playing in South America is pretty hard to do that. South America is a growing rugby community continent, and it will continue to grow. Chile, look what they did to Hong Kong. Then Argentina, the powerhouse they are. Brazil's not a bad rugby team either. Paraguay's not even bad either. So I mean, just across the board, rugby in South America is huge, has so much potential. Way more potential than it does in North America. I hate to say it. But yeah. Then Georgia over Samoa. I mean, I kind of saw that coming. Georgia's a powerhouse in the forward pack. Samoa, they're underfunded, dude. That's the problem with these Pacific Island teams. They're underfunded. I mean, if they had the money of like New Zealand and Australia, it'd be a whole different game for they's teams. They'll either play for their country or go over to Australia or New Zealand and play for them. So it's just not really fair for them, honestly. And it's sad. They're falling off. They used to be powerhouses, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, and now you're just, seeing them dwindle away, losing to Spain, struggling to beat the United States. And I'm an American, so that has a lot to say. So, congratulations to Georgia. I was correct about that one. And we'll hop over here to Spain and Tonga. Spain is obviously the better team. Tonga struggled a lot in World Cup qualifying, barely making it to the World Cup, almost losing to Belgium, which would have been a huge upset and just a tremendous turnaround for rugby in Europe and growth, showing the growth that rugby is doing in general to see Belgium qualify for their first World Cup. But, sadly didn't happen. Hopefully we'll see that here soon. But Spain just dominated. Tonga. You know, kind of like the Georgia game, they're just underfunded. Spain obviously has more funding than Georgia. Um, yeah, but I know this Chile Hong Kong game. It was good. I mean, I kind of expected it to be a little bit closer. Honestly, surprised. But Chile, you know, they're doing good, dude. They beat Uruguay earlier the year, earlier or later in the last year. But they're just looking like a solid team, obviously, to me, they qualified for the past 2 World Cups. And, you know, they're continuing to improve. So, you know, the sky's the limit for, like I said, South American rugby. So, yeah, dude, hopefully, you know, they can keep it up. I really like this hemisphere of the world doing good, you know. USA dominating Zimbabwe here in the United States. They'll go up against Spain next week, which will be a true test to see what the U.S. can do. Portugal dominating Canada. That's showing the skill difference between the United States and Canada right now. Would love to see them play during the summer tests, but just it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And next week, I'm going to have to pick Romania over Samoa. Yeah, like I said, they're underfunded. Romania looked good against Uruguay. I'm going to have to go with Uruguay over Hong Kong. But, if Hong Kong can play good, it could be a close game, but I'm going to have to go Uruguay. Now, this is going to be a true test of Chile's growth. I think it's going to be a good game, but obviously Georgia's the better team, so I'm going to have to pick Georgia here. Tonga over Portugal. Portugal by 50. I'm playing, but Portugal's obviously going to win this one. USA and Spain's going to be the game to watch. Georgia and Chile is going to be a good one too. But USA, Spain, that's going to be your one to watch right there. I think USA is going to edge it out simply because they've been, they're playing in the United States and they're looking pretty good. So if they can pull this off, get a win here, it'd be a really good start to the 2026 year for Team USA Rugby, better than it has in a while. And then over to the final match in the Nations Cup, is Canada and Zimbabwe. I think Zimbabwe is going to win that one. Canada didn't look too good against Portugal. Zimbabwe started off pretty hot against the United States. So Zimbabwe can find a way to keep that momentum they started with the United States. I think Zimbabwe is going to pull off the victory over Canada. So let's jump over here into the Nations Championship. So this past weekend we had some pretty good matches, dude. All right, starting off, New Zealand over France. I said France was going to win that one. I thought France would pull it off, but New Zealand comes off 2 points over France in a solid little match. Japan beats Italy 27-10. I saw that one coming. Ireland over Australia. It was closer than I anticipated, but all around good game for Australia. Over here, Fiji versus Wales. Wales would win. Kind of saw that one coming, obviously. But, good little game right there. South Africa destroying England. Oh, that was last week. Oh, shoot. We'll fix that. But yeah, anyways, I kind of realized, dude, these games happened last week. But New Zealand beating Italy, who saw that? Who would have thought that? Australia over falling to France. Yeah, it's right there. Ireland over. Okay, I was correct for all the. Okay, my fault for going back and looking at those wrong ones. But I was in another planet. But anyways, Ireland over Japan, dude. I mean, think I'm gonna hit them all, dude. I'm hit them all here. England dominating Fiji, and then South Africa obviously going to beat Scotland. And a good showing by Wales. Okay, so Wales did surprise me here. I thought it was just going to be a runaway. But, hey, Wales looks pretty good. I'll give them credit. Looked better than I anticipated. So, good win for Argentina there. Yeah, this is the game to watch. New Zealand and Ireland. I can't wait for this one. I'm gonna have to pick Ireland here. New Zealand struggled a little bit against France. France. I think Ireland's better than France. So I'm gonna have to go with Ireland over New Zealand. Then I'm gonna have to go France over Japan, Australia over Italy. I think Scotland's gonna beat Fiji. South Africa's gonna crush Wales. And then another good game, Argentina and England. But I think England's gonna have to win this one. Good game there. It's gonna be a good game. I'm anticipating watching it, but it's in Argentina, which leads me to have a glimmer of hope for Argentina. But I think England's gonna win that one. Safe to say it. I don't think they're gonna win in soccer though. So that's gonna be they're gonna be tied at one, have to battle it out in cricket or basketball or something. So good little weekend for sports this weekend. Anyways, other news of sports, Conor McGregor. I don't know what if y'all watched the UFC event this past weekend, but Patty Pimblin got the W, so I'm happy about that. But Conor McGregor made his much anticipated UFC debut or return after 5 years of absence, and it ended in 5 seconds. He tore his ACL going for a kick. It's debated that if he was injured before the fight, it was debated that if he was just doing it for some money and just faked an injury. Who knows? But the fight wasn't what it built up to be, what I anticipated to be. So I was kind of a little salty about it. I was hoping it'd be a good little fight, watch some UFC and some Argentina soccer at the same time, but it just didn't. Yeah, UFC's been falling off for me, in my opinion. I still rock with it. I'll still watch it, but it's just not the same as it used to be. It is what it is. That's how all sports are. It is what it is. But with that being said, still gonna watch UFC, and I hope Conor McGregor has a safe recovery, a good recovery, and gets back into it after the fight. Max Holloway said, well, after his tearing of the ACL, not really much of a fight. Max Holloway was talking about wanting to get a rematch in, and hopefully it does come into fruition. Obviously Conor McGregor's gonna have to go through ACL surgery and recovery, so who knows how long that will be. Hopefully it's not another 5 years. So that would be good if get back into it. And I realized I didn't make my NASCAR prediction for this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and make it right here. I'm thinking Chase Elliott. Back-to-back weeks saying Chase Elliott is a Chase Elliott fan sounds kind of hypocritical. But Chase Elliott's a good short track driver. Chase Elliott's one of the best drivers at Atlanta. So it's kind of valid for me to do that. Obviously, I'm a fan of him, but I'm gonna have to go back-to-back weeks with Elliott, dude. So hopefully you can keep that up. And that's about all the sports we'll be covering for this weekend. So we're going to dive into what we're going to do and expand on. I plan on making sports documentaries, smaller sports documentaries, just me behind the screen and stuff, or me talking behind the PowerPoint, talking about sports. But yeah, either way, dude, I'm going to make some more sports content. It's not just going to be weekly updates about sports. It's going to be more. I plan on having people hop on, these weekly updates, give their opinions and stuff, especially as we get into bigger sports. My friends are more infatuated with like college football and basketball. We'll definitely have them hop on and talk about it. But yeah, they don't know too much about rugby other than my rugby playing friends, or NASCAR other than my 2 friends that watch NASCAR other than me. So yeah, we'll definitely do some more coverage of other sports. If y'all have any other sports that y'all want me to cover, definitely put it down in the comments. It's not basketball or football season yet, so it's not much I can talk about it right now. But some breaking news happens, I'll definitely throw it out there or give my opinion on it. Yeah, I'm definitely doing some videos about the World Cup, talk about it, and I'm gonna make some videos about the upcoming Rugby World Cup. So I plan to do a lot of promotion for the Rugby World Cup. So I want people to be as infatuated with the Rugby World Cup as the FIFA World Cup is this year. I want this sport to grow. I play it, my favorite sport. So yeah, I'll do what I can to my little 18 subscribers to see what I can do. So I appreciate y'all sticking around, and I will see y'all next time. So let's end it.